Hi, everybody. This is C3UG coming to you, and we thought we would get together and have a quick chat after the launch of Notes in Domino 10 and just talk about the things that we saw in the video from IBM and the things that we were looking forward to and just our impressions of what was discussed. So we'll just do a quick around the horn introduction of each of ourselves, and then we'll jump into it. So I'm Graham Akers, Bragtech Systems in Vancouver, and Heiko.
Heiko Voigt, Harbor Light Software Development in beautiful Halifax. Colin?
Colin Breckles with Castlebrack. Scott?
Hey, and Scott Mitchell from IBM out of Calgary.
All right, so let's jump start it off here. And Heiko, you get to go first because you were actually at the launch event, and just talk about your experience leading up to it.
Well, I think it was a pretty well organized event this time. We had a very good crowd. It was about, from the event itself, we had about 300 people attending. The room was packed, and we had people standing outside in an overflow room, which is rare in our environment. But actually, the event started a day earlier with the Bleak Yellow Party. So the German Notes user group has had everybody in the community invited to a public barbecue party over the rooftops of Frankfurt, which was pretty nice. And we had, like, I think it was about 200 people showing up there. All the big names were there. I was able to talk to Bob Schulz. I talked to Andrew Manby. I talked to a couple of other folks from HCL. So it was a really nice warm-up for the event. And the main thing that you had to wear something yellow. Everybody had to wear something yellow. Yellow socks, yellow ties, yellow shirts. I mean, all the yellow things that were coming back, and well, actually a lot of people around with even iris pins and lotus pins from like decades back. So it was kind of fun. So, but let's jump back to the event itself. I think it's more interesting to talk about what's been really where to be for us at the event, and what got announced. So we get in our warm-up videos, we had some sections in there as well, and we want to stick to those. So we'll talk about first a little bit about the Notes client, then we go into the admin stuff, and we'll talk about what's new for developers, and then there's always something like a scenario where we wanted to know, so when can I get my hands on that, right? So we call that the what and when section. Section, so we will go back to that. But first of all, Colin, what was new? What was the great new thing that they demoed for the Notes client?
Well, in Bob Schultz's portion, they showed Domino mobile apps. So those are your Notes client apps running on an iPad with Android to come at a later date. People are jazzed about that. No rewrites. Your app will work without rebuilding it. So regardless of whether that is your long-term strategy or you've got some other mobile long-term strategy, you can take your apps and you can run them on an iPad when that becomes available, which is estimated to be at the end of October. Okay. Heiko, back to you.
Okay, good stuff, Colin. We talked about a couple of admin things as well. So let's switch. I think that was pretty much the most really important things in the Notes client. We had a couple of things that we mentioned in the pre-video. They didn't show them in the demos for the Notes client, but they're coming in the product, and you can actually use them as we talked about it in the pre-show video that we did. On the other hand, there was a couple of admin things that we talked about as well. Docker support was one of them. We say, okay, we got some pre-packaged Docker images that we could use from a public space to run a Domino server and the Domino infrastructure on Docker containers. That's available now from at least from the launch point of view. We also saw this in combination with the integration with Application Insights. It has been around for a while in the Domino infrastructure, so which gives you a couple of useful insights on which applications are currently in use, how heavy are they in use, how many documents get worked on every day. So you get statistics on the applications that you run in your environment to let you know which ones might be a good candidate for moving it to the cloud or something that's on the Docker environment as well. So that's a pretty cool feature still, or that is inside of these in this area as well. And I think there's a couple of more, Colin, right?
Absolutely. So CentOS support, that's huge. Like lots of people run a lot of things on CentOS, and having official formal support from IBM, even if people may have run some servers on it. In the past, we've really encouraged people to stay with officially supported Linuxes. It's now among them. Wonderful. Also Domino apps on cloud. We've talked about that in the past. We actually have a previous video on the C3UG channel that you can go and check out. The offerings new and improved and continued to move forward. So you'll be able to take your Domino 10 apps and run them on the cloud as well. More on that, if there's questions, you can level them to the C3UG or your business partner or IBM rep. Over to Graham.
Yeah, so the other things on the admin side of things were stuff that we had talked about in the previous video with proactive monitoring and self-healing and the auto repair stuff. So that's all available now. It was actually demoed in the launch event. And then similarly with clustering, be able to do, you know, self-healing and auto repair. The neat thing that was actually discussed, I think, I might have read this in a blog, but with respect to auto repair and clustered environments, if the Domino server actually determines that there's a problem with one particular NSF on a server and it's clustered, it'll actually delete that NSF and take a new copy of the NSF that it deems to be the correct one from another server, and do that all on its own in the background. You don't even know that it's happening. So I actually think that's huge. It's really quite powerful. And Scott, we've got one for you.
Yeah, what I enjoyed and what I think a lot of the clients that I've talked to are going to enjoy is a new version of Verse on-prem that's been included with the Domino 10 release. Finally, some of the features that are available and have been available in Connections Cloud in Verse on Connections Cloud are now going to pile over into Verse on-prem. So that mail template got updated. It's going to get some updates. I've heard a lot more coming too for Verse on-prem. So for those of you who have moved your mail clients to Verse on-prem, stay tuned, because like I said, this is just the first release and one of many for the Verse on-prem team or Verse on-prem users. So good news for those Verse users. Heiko, let's hop over into the development stuff, because that, I think there's some big stuff that came out that will interest a lot of the folks here who are interested in Domino development.
Yeah, time's of the essence here, and I think last time that in our preview video of the show, we just talked about the opportunity to write applications with Node.js and the Node.js framework against the Domino backend. And at that point in time, we were saying that it might be a little bit further away, but IBM surprised us really here, because this product, which is now called the App Dev Pack, that's just the official name. We will put the links to it into the video link on YouTube as well, so you can refer to that. But this is available for early access now. It's not publicly available directly, but you can get access to it and you can get your feedback. So you can have this the Node integration for testing purposes or for early access purposes available to you now. And this consists of also an interesting feature, I think, refers to the one Colin was talking about in the previous video. DQL is part of it, so you can actually test and run DQL stuff against this interface and against your Nodes database. So here's where the good things come together. Colin, what else did they show?
So yeah, Heiko, absolutely. The App Dev Pack, fabulous. They dropped a developer preview right with the GA of Domino 10. They said it was coming later, and you know, in reality, as a developer, you need time to build your apps and get them released anyway. So I think they couldn't have done much better on the timing of that. And with all with the App Dev Pack and the other goodness of 10, they showed some cool demos that were built. Some things that'll be interesting to customers in heterogeneous environments. We've got integrations with MS Teams that were demoed. Slack, Watson Workspace, and NerdStack apps built by a business partner, ISW, I believe, showing Office 365 and Slack as a full NerdStack app. So pretty cool stuff. Graham, over to you about some what and when.
Yeah, so this is taken specifically or directly from the launch video, which is available on the Destination Domino website. We'll put a link in the description here, but these are just from an overall timing standpoint, what's available now, what's coming in the future. So in terms of what's available now, first and foremost, Domino 10 is available now. Notes 10 is available now. Traveler 10 is available now. Scott mentioned Verse on-prem. So those are kind of the key things that they've released first. And then Colin, back to some other stuff.
Yeah, so one of the things that we saw was Domino mobile app. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. But on the note of the jam, so the community really felt engaged about Domino 10. They came out and did a whole multi-city tour all over the world with the jams. People really embraced that. And guess what? They're doing it again. Not only have they given us a 10, but they want to show continued momentum. So they're already talking about a release of 11. And they're talking about scheduling jams for 11. So the community feels really, really positive. Everybody said great things about that. Heiko, what else is coming?
Well, there's a couple of other things down the road until we have a Domino 11. They were talking about a 10.01 release by the end of the year, which brings in a couple of new features. As I said, the Domino App Dev Pack early access is now. There's also not exactly clear when this will be completely available, but also later in the year. And also there's, from a Notes client perspective, there's still something that a couple of users are waiting for is the Mac client, which also will be available later in the year as a version 10 client. So this will take a little bit longer. But there's also good news for those people who have stuff on the licensing side. We got a lot of people that are not under maintenance still. So Scott, what have you?
Sure.
What's on the sales pitch for that?
Absolutely. So some great things that they did in conjunction with the release, especially for any clients that IBM that we have who have maybe not been on maintenance for a while, that are still using Notes and Domino, and are looking maybe to come back to the community and come back to reinstate some of their licensing. So one of the things that we have currently on the table is you're able to come back and reinstate your existing Domino licensing that you actually, perpetual licenses that you guys own. You're able to reinstate them now with 50% off until the end of the year. So it's a great, I mean, we don't see that ever from our team, to giving you 50% off people coming back onto the platform. So that'll allow you to get back on, get your Domino 10 installed, get all the stuff that we just talked about in this video, and start using it again. So you're able to go to any of the guys that are here on this video, any of your local business partners, and reinstate your Domino, and they'll help you out and kind of give you the landscape as to what's happening right now. And that includes, like I said, utility server, anything that you may have in the past. One other thing on top of that, if you've never been a Domino customer and you're looking to get onto the platform and start, using some of these great features, some of these features we've been talking about, they're offering 20% off your net new licensing until the end of the year as well. So once again, any of the guys on this call here on the video right now can help you out with that, or talk to your IBM rep. But I prefer you go through these guys on the video, because these are our Canadian experts with regards to Notes and Domino. So go through them; they'll get you set up, and you're able to, like I said, get onto the yellow train here with everybody. So
beautiful. Thank you, Scott. That's going to wrap it up. We'll leave you here. By the way, we're putting all of the links in. One of the other links that I thought about that we'll add here is getting access to the App Dev Pack. You actually need to sign up for it. So we'll include that link as well. And as we say, share our videos, like our videos. We've got more in the hopper and more information. And feel free to engage us on any of the different channels that we've got. We've got a Twitter account, we've got a LinkedIn groups, we've got Facebook groups that you can join, and just stay engaged in the conversation. And let's share what we know and learn from each other. So I'll sign off and just say thanks everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.